Hello lovelies, welcome back to the Lovely Digest here on YouTube. Thank you so much for joining me here today. If you're new, hi, my name is Emily and I'm so excited to get started. The previous clip that you would have seen is my new breakfast routine and kind of what I do in the morning that's a little bit different from what I've shown you in the past. I started eating a little bit differently and this is all things I'm going to catch you up on today, but essentially I figured that instead of continuing the vlog style video, I would set up my camera and sit down on my comfy bed because I haven't filmed in a little while and a lot has changed. If you follow me on Instagram, which you definitely should, you'll know a little bit as to why I've been MIA here, and also on the blog. I've had a lot of health things going on, so it's not for a lack of creativity, but more for needing a little bit more space to focus on my health. Which is totally understandable, but I just wanted to give you guys a reason why. It's not that I've lost interest in the Lovely Digest at all, it's just me trying to collect as much information about what's going on with my body as possible. As you can tell by the title, it's been a little hectic and things are still up in the air, but I was kind of bursting at the seams and wanted to update you guys so that I didn't have too much information floating around in my head reminding me to tell you guys. So this is the reason for this video. If you do like it, please make sure to like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. So to jump right into things, I think the last time I talked to you guys was when I was at Brigham and Women's. So essentially I still love my doctor. The doctor that I'm talking about is not the one that I'm seeing at Brigham and Women's. This is one that I saw when I was really sick back in February and just was desperately trying to get into anywhere I could to get help because I was in a lot of pain and I definitely needed a colonoscopy. So the doctor that I did see told me right after my colonoscopy that my colon was essentially full of ulcers and that I definitely had Crohn's disease, and it just kind of took his word for it. And the first warning signs were that the office did not send all of my files over to my new doctor. We had to follow up several times. They sent over everything but the slides, which are the little biopsies that they took from my colonoscopy to essentially diagnose me with Crohn's. And then I started thinking about it and was like, wait a second. Right after I got out of the colonoscopy, he said that he couldn't make it to my small intestine. If you guys didn't watch my colonoscopy story, you definitely should, but essentially he couldn't make it up to my small intestine because I was awake the whole time and was, I think, pretty upset because I wasn't asleep. I mean, who wouldn't be? So he couldn't make it very far. And if you know anything about Crohn's is in the small intestine, and I just started to realize, like, if those biopsies really showed that I had Crohn's when they have had to come from my small intestine, interesting, but he's a doctor, how wrong can he be? Well, so I went to this new doctor. As far as I know, he still has never sent the slides. The office has never sent the slides to my new doctor. I'm talking to her this Friday. It is now Tuesday. So we'll see if there's any updates, but I followed up with him 4 times and it's been about a month and a half. So we'll see if they ever get them, but I kind of feel like there's something up with that, of course. And that was kind of the first warning sign that something was off with my first doctor. The other warning signs were, again, in my last video, I just kind of went through the whole thing and why I ended up switching doctors, and lots of red flags, to say the least. So this new doctor has been waiting on those, and she said, well, in the meantime, you never had an MRI, so why don't you go ahead and have the MRI? If you follow me on Instagram, which you definitely should, I said there how it went much better than expected. It didn't make me immediately sick, but it definitely kind of threw me into a bit of a flare. Right now, I'm really trying to help myself with nutrition only. I'm still trying to do that. The side effects of Remicade just really scared me and don't seem like they would fit into my lifestyle too well in a time where I'm really trying to get to know my body and my hormones and balance everything out in my body. I just think that Remicade would add certain side effects might add and mask original primary symptoms, and so I'm trying to hold off on that as long as possible. It's not something that I'm against. I'm not against allopathic medicine at all, but going the natural route is definitely more for me. So definitely do your research. I can go into that in another video, but that's where I'm at right now. And I'm super glad I held off, guys, because my first doctor, who was awful, really wanted to stick me on Remicade and a ton of steroids, but the MRI came back and it seems that it was relatively clear. I do have Crohn's in my ileum, which is super common in the ileocecal valve. That's kind of where Crohn's inflammation flares up. And of course this can change from week to week. I currently feel like I probably have a little bit more inflammation than would have shown up in the MRI because I wasn't super sick at that time. Now I'm kind of having trouble at night where I start to feel like I'm in a lot of pain and have those waves of pain are coming back. But I am doing a lot better than the last 2 times I have started to go into a flare, so I'm taking that as a good sign that the nutrition and the path that I'm trying to go down is starting to work. So I'll keep you guys updated on that. But the reason why I think my doctor lied to me, as you can see from the title, is that my colon showed no ulcerations, and he had told me that my colon was full of ulcers. So excuse me, it is just really shocking to hear that like a doctor could lie to you. Again, I did take antibiotics, so that could have helped clear a lot up, but now that I'm starting to not feel well again, I wasn't on antibiotics at the time of the MRI and hadn't been for several weeks. So I strongly believe that if I had ulcers before they would have shown up, they wouldn't have been completely gone. It just, something again seems a little off. So I'm talking to my doctor on Friday. She'll definitely interpret my scans to me. I just wanted to hop on here and give an update because it's so crazy that, you know, your doctor could just really want to stick you on some powerful medicine just because he wants to keep you as a patient. And just always do your research, guys. If something feels off to you or your doctor isn't perfect for you, don't settle. It's just like finding your partner or the love of your life. Your doctor is someone who's going to probably like get to know your body almost as well as you do. No one's gonna know your body better than you do, but it's really crazy to me that this doctor could even say that to my face. I don't believe that he could have lied that much, but I'm still having trouble wrapping my mind around it. But essentially, guys, the lesson here to learn is to listen to your body, and if you are really hesitant about going on any major medication, just hold out as long as you can. Go with your gut. It's totally fine. Don't let anyone pressure you into doing anything that's going to change your life in as drastic a way as steroids or Remicade or any of those infusion type drugs would. If you need them, you need them. That's totally fine as well. Again, I don't want to create a toxic culture around, like, you gotta do what you gotta do. Bottom line here. So that's a little update on that. Again, I'm talking to my doctor on Friday and I'll update you guys on that. Another amazing thing that I found out is that I am not lactose intolerant. After 3 years, it'll be 3 years in November of thinking and being told that I was lactose intolerant, I did a lactose breath test and found out that I'm actually not. This doesn't mean I can go and eat cheese, and definitely doesn't mean I'm gonna go and start drinking whole milk ever again, but it's so crazy to know that I could have a little bit of cheese in it. That's not going to be the source of my pain. I could be allergic to casein, so if you do get one of these tests, just keep in mind that you could still be allergic to casein in cheese. Casein is also really not great for you, and neither is cow's milk. It creates a ton of inflammation in your intestines. It's not soothing. You have to drink the right kind of milk and eat the right kind of cheese. Aged and fermented cheeses are better. That is what my nutritionist told me. And so it's nice to know that I don't have to be as strict with myself and that I have a little bit more flexibility back in my diet. And I'm just so thankful. And you guys might be saying, well, why didn't you do this before? Well, I don't know is the honest answer. It was just one of those things where you go into your doctor and you say, well, I think that I'm allergic to cheese because I don't feel well every time I eat it. And then your doctor is like, okay, then you probably don't need the test. So clearly I was wrong, or I might be just allergic to the casein in certain cheeses. So again, not going to go and drink cow's milk. Cow's milk is super hard for your body to digest and is not natural to your body and is usually full of disgusting antibiotics. So I would stay away from that if I were you, but I can eat brie or camembert or other wonderful cheeses that are out there as long as they are sustainably sourced, and I'm still going to be super conscious of that, but having that little bit of flexibility in my diet means the world, and I'm super excited about it. The next thing I wanted to update you guys on is that I met with 2 functional nutritionists, or 1 nutritionist and 1 functional nutritionist. I personally think both of them are more lean more into the naturopathic side, but super excited because I'm finally finding a routine that works for me. If you have Crohn's and IBD, you know that finding a diet that works for you can be so tough. I mean, this is even just the case for people who want to change their lifestyle and their eating habits. It can be super hard, especially when, you know, you get diagnosed with something or you start not feeling well and you have to completely pivot off of processed foods. So I have not had processed foods for quite a long time. However, I still have a major sweet tooth. I have not had refined sugars since about March now, when I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease. I kind of always knew that I should probably stay away from them, but again, I have a huge sweet tooth and I was definitely addicted to sugar, but now that that's subsided, like, I don't crave anything with processed sugars anymore. Like, the sight of them makes me want to vomit. If I have juice that's too sweet, I can't do it. So yeah, I'm just super mindful of everything that goes into everything that I eat. So all of the ingredients. My rule is that if it has 5 ingredients or less, it's great for you. Sugar shouldn't be in the first 3 ingredients. Organic cane sugar only if you have to. But even then, like, cane sugar is just going to create so much inflammation in your body, whether or not you have Crohn's disease or IBD. So if you're not feeling well after you eat a giant slice of cake, then it's inflammation in your stomach and it's feeding all that bad gut bacteria. So another thing that I'm learning is about your gut bacteria, and there's a potential that I have dysbiosis-induced Crohn's. So when I talked to the functional nutritionist, he mentioned that a lot of his patients usually describe the onset of their symptoms as being super sudden. So it didn't progress over time. If you do have Crohn's and your symptoms progress slowly over time, then it's probably different. It's probably not dysbiosis. You genuinely have Crohn's disease. But In my case, I told him my whole story, which is that on January 15th, 2020, I was on a plane from California to Rhode Island and I started having symptoms immediately. And he said, "What did you eat before?" I admitted to saving a burger from In-N-Out, bringing it through the airport, so it was probably 3 to 4 hours from when I bought it to when I ate it. And that essentially is most likely the source of all my discomfort. And because I had no symptoms before that, absolutely none, was completely fine up until, again, January 15th. So probably have food poisoning induced dysbiosis, which is when the bad gut bacteria overtake your good gut bacteria. So your gut is supposed to be 80% good, 20% bad, and anything beyond that or fluctuating beyond that is dysbiosis, or categorized as intestinal dysbiosis. So I am trying to learn how to rebalance my gut bacteria. From there, it's expected that I should start to feel better, should have less inflammation. Again, if I really truly don't have ulcers, then this seems like a totally feasible thing for me to be able to help myself with nutrition. It's just going to take a little while and a lot of patience. So I feel very fortunate to have this patience in this time to help heal myself. Again, if things start to go super south, if I get more sick, I have antibiotics that I know to work, but the flip side of that, and why I would hope that I don't have to turn to that, is that antibiotics can also cause intestinal dysbiosis and that they wipe out all the gut bacteria and the flora and the fauna all at once, and that is also horrible. So if you're taking antibiotics for any reason, it's always recommended that you follow up with a really good probiotic to help repopulate and make sure that the bad gut bacteria doesn't overtake the good when it's all growing back. So that's just something to keep in mind. I hope this video has been helpful in some way. That is just a really comprehensive update on what has been going on. I'm going to follow up this video right now with a video on things that have been really helping me to get through this time. Again, like, trying to navigate this while being in pain is a struggle for sure, but there's been a couple of things that have been really helping me get through, and I really want to share with you about how I've been doing it and getting through the painful moments, and how I'm not absolutely losing my mind, even though I've been there a couple of times. But yes, I'll just share that with you in the next video, so keep an eye out for that. Again, thank you guys for being patient with me and for continuing to follow on Instagram. I love you guys so much and really appreciate all of you.